Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Tuesday, January the 16th, 2024. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, January 11th, 2024 at 4:45 p.m.
All right, thank you. Let's stand brief for a moment of silence, and then we'll have pledge led by Steve Hernandez.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas pledge. On honor of the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, under C for public comments, I don't see anyone from the public here today. If there's none, we're going to items number D under proclamations and resolutions. On D1 is proclamation recognizing the 38th annual wreath laying ceremony and the 38th annual candlelight vigil commemorating the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. history holiday and honoring Ms. Coquie Johnson Gibson. All right, this has already been presented. I think this is need a motion to ratify this.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right. Under items D1 is resolution approving the nominees of the commissioner, or the nomination of Commissioner Will Jones to serve on the Texas Conference on Urban Counties and Policy Committee for 2024 biennium.
Hello.
Howdy. So for lack of, got a motion to nominate Commissioner Will Jones.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion is second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
February.
Okay.
15th.
15th.
All right, going to, under the consent agenda, I'd like to recommend the pulls of E3A, HR matter for adult probation, E3B, HR matter for the HR department, E3C, HR matter for the DA's office, and E3D, HR matter for the County Court of Law number 3. All right, is there any other recommended pulls? If there's no other recommended pulls, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of the pulls previously mentioned?
Move to approve.
Second?
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right, Dustin, you want to take us to the next item?
Yes, sir. So I know Anna was going to be tied up for just a little bit this morning. So if we could move down to item F, bids, RFPs, RFQs. F1 is authorization of quote from Brazos Media Technologies for surveillance system for County Court at Law number 2. John?
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So this item is just to bring CCL2 up to the standard of the other courts and make it more secure, of course, but just to bring it to the same level. It's adding, as you saw there, it's adding, 2 TV monitors, a camera, and 2 computer monitors, and the cables and hardware. And this has been, this has been reviewed and recommended for approval.
All right, are there any questions?
My usual question, John, budget item in the budget?
This was not originally budgeted, but we do have the funds to cover it in our budget. We don't have to do any kind of funds outside of the normal budget.
All right, any other questions? No other questions, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Item F2, authorization of service quotation with Smith's Detection for the X-ray machines. I don't see David Ives on, so this
I
is
see him,
We see him.
he's sitting in
Okay.
there.
David, do you want me to cover? It's just the quotation from Smith's Detection totaling $18,477. This is an increase from last year. Last year's total is $13,792.
All right. Any questions? No questions, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
That motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
F3, discussion and or action regarding adjusted fees notification for Fikes Wholesale. This is bid 20-002, unleaded and diesel fuel for McLennan County. Kent?
Yes, we sent through a renewal for this agreement with Fikes, but we sent it through in October. We received this letter in November. It actually, the new agreement didn't start until December, so they were sending it before the new agreement went into place, where they started adding these charges for late payments, non-sufficient fund fee, and then a 100-day draft delay fee. This went to accounts payable, and I'm sorry I wasn't aware of it, or I would have, excuse me, I did get a copy of it, but just to tell you the truth, I didn't know it applied. But anyway, they sent through an invoice, including a late fee payment. I'm in conversation with Fikes right now, trying to get them to remove it off that particular invoice. So far, I haven't had full agreement to that, but I'm still in conversations with them. But I wanted the court to be aware of this. I don't know that, in general, this affects us very much. We generally are paying them on time and with no issues. But I wanted the court to be aware that this is out there. And it's, again, I know all of you are business people. This is not uncommon for people to charge late fees for late payment. So I want to bring it to the court's attention and just make sure that you're aware, see if you had any problems with it.
So this rarely happens for us, though.
Yes.
It's not something that we're dealing with every month.
That's
Ken, when's the last time we bid out our fuel?
Actually, I'm sorry, I think it was just a year or so ago.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that far back.
So in the original bid, was this included in the original bid, or is this something they added after our bid?
This is added after. We ask if there are any other charges for us to be made aware of, other than for the fuel cost and for,
Sure.
yeah, but, and they didn't state anything, but this is an addition, and I will go with the court's direction, but like I say, I don't think it's all that much money. And when we awarded the bid, Fikes submitted the best proposal.
Yeah. And I certainly encourage you to go ahead and stay in conversation with them. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is that we bid something out and then something comes in after we've already agreed with something with them. So kind of a one-way street.
We still have, what do we have, 30 days notification to cancel if need be?
Yeah, I'd send it to them, and then just say make them understand we've got that. I don't understand, it's been a while since I've been in banking, but a $200 non-sufficient funds fee Who had the insufficient funds?
No, this is just a general letter to everybody.
Going on
Oh,
without all the-
Yeah, it's not directed specifically to the county. Again, I think about the only thing that would
That's pretty high, insufficient
affect
fund
us
fee.
is the late payments.
I've seen them around 35, maybe up as high as 50, but never 200.
Yeah.
Yes.
They must be having some issues.
Must be having some issues with some people, yeah, no kidding.
And if we write a hot check, we got bigger problems.
Amen to that, brother.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't see the other things affecting us at all. I just,
yeah.
again, it's a
Like I said, it
general
just-
letter.
Only thing that disturbs me is it comes in after the contract,
Yeah.
so. I have no problem. What do we need to do here?
Say, is it,
Approve this addition?
yeah, I think it's just, for ratification or for notification purposes.
Notification.
So we don't need it to,
It doesn't affect our general business or day-to-day
Okay.
business. Like I said, this is just if we're late in paying the bill.
So do we want to send them a 30-day notice?
Well, probably not, now that I understand it. Yeah, okay.
okay. And if we need to approve the adjustment, so be it. There needs to be a vote. I'll move that we approve the adjustment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
F4, authorization of renewal for bid 23-007, printed envelopes and letterhead for various McLennan County departments with Furman Business Forums. Ken?
We contacted Furman on this particular bid, and they're would like to continue the bid with the same price, terms, and conditions as the original response. If approved, the contract date would be from March 1st, 2024 through February 28th, 2025.
All right, any questions? If no questions, what's the pleasure of the court?
Vote to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
F5, discussion and/or action regarding RFQ 23-023, grant management services. Ken?
This is a little bit difficult. I'm going to kind of read through this so that if there's any questions, but after this RFQ was released, we received an email from Jill Finney with Langford basically indicating that we should have used a request for proposal for the solicitation rather than an RFQ. If we are applying for a federal grant, an RFQ does not meet the federal bidding requirements that would be needed to be reimbursed from the grant. In discussion Dustin and I had, what we were talking about, we needed to kind of verify. So we called GrantWorks. I had received a phone call from them that this was not something that they would respond to. And so I called them to ask why, and he indicated the same thing. He also indicated that his company does not hunt for grants that you may or may not want. More that came out in the conversation is that we would need to use an RFP to obtain a company, apply for a grant, and act as the grant administrator. But in most grants that we would be interested in, we would generally need to issue the RFQ for engineering services needed to write a scope of work for the grant application. This is a procedure that we follow when we're applying for that Texas block grant that we get for Elmont. I provide the notes that I wrote down when I was having the conversations with them. After reading all that, we would like to request from the court that we reject all the responses for the RFQ 23-023 grant management services. And if rejected, after a conversation with Mike Dustin and Francis, we would offer the following option to proceed forward. We would go the solicitation for a general grant management services company and issue a solicitation for a grant management services company for specific grant applications. And the one that we're really targeting and talking about right now is the RAISE grant, which would be for our bridges. And again, we would need to issue an RFP for a grant management company and then an RFQ for an engineering company to write a scope of work for the grant management company. So again, it's a bit complicated. We stepped into it. I have talked to GrantWorks, and they are working on an RFP for grant management services. They don't have it ready yet, but I talked to them again just last week, and they're still working on it. And I asked them to send me a copy of that when they have it done. A little bit of conversation I had. One company told me that if we shouldn't hire a grant management service before a grant is released. But then when I was talking to GrantWorks, they thought that we could issue a RFP for a general grant management services company. But that's something that I'll have to do more work and conversation study on. So I just wanted to share all this information with the court.
Okay.
It's kind of like we moved into it. And again, if the court rejects all, then I will contact all of them and tell them what our future plan is and apologize and hope that they respond to the next solicitation that we
So
send.
what you're requesting here is a recommendation that we reject all.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
And Judge, if I could just add one thing on that, we could have done it the way that the RFQ is set out, but we would have to pay general fund dollars for all that grant research.
Okay.
Where if we follow the federal procurement, then on specific grants, those grants, the grant administration work should be reimbursed and paid for through the grant.
Okay.
So we think that's the better approach.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Dustin. I forgot to mention that.
All right.
All right, moving on to item G, contracts interlocal agreements. G1's regarding the agreement with Leal's Snacks LLC, Leal Snacks Micro Markets, authorization of renewal request for the Jack Harwell Detention Center. Ken?
Yes, we contacted the sheriff's office and also talked to Leal's, and Leal's would like to extend their agreement for the jail, and if approved, it would be from March 21, 2024 through March 20th, 2025.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G2, authorization of master service agreements with AMG Technology Investment Group, doing business as NextLink Internet. G2A is for the Precinct 1 yard, G2B Precinct 2, G2C Precinct 3, and G2D Precinct 4 yard. John?
Hello. So this one is just the renewal of the internet service for all 4 precincts. Being where they are, there just aren't many options for internet out there. We still feel like NextLink is the best option for all the precincts. There were a few changes. These are all 3-year renewal contracts because they've been on these contracts. So for Road and Bridge precincts 1 and 2, nothing's changing. They're staying on 40 download by 20 upload. For Road and Bridge precincts 3 and 4, they were on 10 by 10, but NextLink no longer offers that. They only offer 20 by 10, which is their lowest. So we have changed them to that, and you can see the cost there. That's $200 per month for 1 and 2, and $100 per month for Road and Bridge precincts 3 and 4. This has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any question? Questions, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve G2A, B, C, and D.
Second.
I have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
G3 is regarding the agreement with governmentjobs.com, doing business as NeoGov, authorization of single sign-on module for the applicant tracking and onboarding solution for human resources. John?
So this was, excuse me, the actual agreement for NeoGov was approved back on October 17th. What we're asking for now is a module we should have asked for and just missed it on the initial purchase, which was a single sign-on module. This helps increase security and allows everyone who signs on to the NeoGov or the HR applicant tracking system government jobs. It allows them to sign on with their network password so they don't have to have another password and all that. This brings it into line with other options we have. So folks who use Tyler Munis use single sign-on. Udemy learning platform use single sign-on. We're trying to move as many things to this as we can. This is an initial 2-year contract to match the existing NeoGov 2-year contract we signed back in October. This has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay, yeah, any questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
G4 is authorization of maintenance and support agreement with DataWorks Plus LLC for the County Sheriff Mugshot System. This is just the renewal and it totals the same amount as it did last year, $11,330.90.
All right, any questions?
Is this gonna be replaced by our new system?
So Commissioner, this is one of those items that we had spoken to y'all about that is, we don't know yet, but more than likely it will. I just don't want to give the definitive answer yes. It looks as though this is going to be something that is going to go away. This and possibly another one that you'll see on here that you may have a question about, like Excella Technologies. So those are two that can maybe get traded over the years.
Okay. Just wondering.
Thank you. Motion to approve G4.
Second?
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G5 regarding the second professional consulting contract addendum with LAN, authorization of invoice. This is for the Clinton County water planning. This covers those water planning services for the months of September and October and totals $5,500 and is recommended for approval.
All right, I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Have a motion second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G6, reauthorization of current memorandum of understanding with Hillcrest Baptist Medical Center, doing business as Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest Medical Center for the Clinton County Indigent Health Care Program. Heather?
Yes, sir. So this is just an annual renewal. I think we do these on a 2-year basis, so it's just recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? All right, I'll make a motion we approve.
Second?
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you, Heather.
G7, authorization of interlocal agreement with Heart of Texas Council of Governments for the emergency notification services from Everbridge. HotCog contracts with Everbridge to make this service available for the county, and then HotCog uses existing state Homeland Security Program grant funds to pay for this, so there's no cost to the county. And this is the system where we can send out alerts on natural disasters, floods, office closings, et cetera. So it's recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Who pushes the button?
Emergency management.
So emergency management, for the most part.
But not for all of it, right?
Well, like
I'm-
for the county.
Go ahead, Judge.
For the county yesterday, the last couple of days, Dustin and I and Ryan Durker were talking. And, of course, we were monitoring what others were doing, other schools and those things. So then, Dustin, correct me if I'm wrong, but then you sent Ryan the message of our late opening. And then
Right.
he sent it out. We sent it at 4, and within a minute or so, it kicked out, my phone rang, so kinda like it worked.
Okay, so he sends it out, but only after direction from whomever.
The entity, that's right,
Okay, all right.
all right?
A motion to approve the agreement with Hot Kite.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? Other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G8, authorization of standard form of agreement and related documents with Kasparian Underground for bid 23-013 Chapel Road improvements. Zay?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm happy to bring this agenda item to you before you. It's the construction contract for the long-awaited Chapel Road Improvement Project, which is going to be funded through bond funds. And this contract is with Kasparian Underground LLC, doing business as H&B Contractors. The total construction cost is $18,259,069.13, of which alternate A is for a 24-inch water line for the city of Waco, and they will be paying for that $6,874,723.65. So this contract has been reviewed by the city of Waco, and they've given their thumbs up on if the court decides to go forward with this contract with H&B Contractors. So it's been recommended and is approved for approval, is recommended for approval.
Okay,
And just to reiterate, auditor's office sends them a invoice, and they will.
City of Waco.
I'm sorry, yes, City of Waco, will pay us that amount of money against this contract.
Right.
So just.
Pass
to be
through,
clear.
we pass it through to the contractor.
Right.
And then upon approval of this, there will be a meeting with the contractor on timeline.
Correct. Once we, upon the Commissioners Court approving this contract, there will be a pre-construction meeting with the contractor.
Quickly, fairly quickly,
Yes, sir. It's scheduled for tomorrow.
quick.
And during that meeting, we'll determine, we'll look at their suggested schedule for construction, as well as where they're going to stage, have their construction trailer and all that kind of stuff. Who the point of contact is, make sure everybody knows who everybody is. After that meeting, we are working with Walker Partners, the consulting design engineer, to determine a good date to have a public meeting. We have been in talks with the Woodway First Baptist Church because they have a building that can accept a large crowd. We haven't determined exactly what day that's going to be, but we're hoping it'll be soon. We'll get a public mail out to all the people that live along Chapel Road and nearby schools. And then we'll have a public meeting, and then construction should break ground soon thereafter.
Okay, and then Walker Partners will be the response
Right, they'll be the,
entity that talks for all of us about the schedule, answer questions of the public, and then you would be there to back up anything other than that, and then Commissioner's office after that.
Judge, my assumption is, and Zane, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we did Spiegelville Road, it's a come and go type environment. And when you come in, Walker Partners has someone to meet you and walk you through the maps. And it's one-on-one. It's not a meeting where someone stands up and speaks and everybody, they interact and find out more about the project.
very similar to a TxDOT pre-construction meeting, or public meeting, I should say, where they're, like Commissioner said.
Okay, sounds good, glad to get it going. All
So,
right,
is this contract then, or this agreement with Kasparian, or is it with H&B, or both, or how's that?
It's with Kasparian Underground LLC, who's doing business as H&B Contractors.
it's the same company,
It's the same company.
they just have, they have numerous companies, and this is,
So, okay, I wasn't aware that Kasparian
yeah, they bought out.
bought out
H&B.
H&B.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If None, is there a motion to approve the agreement?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Big project.
G9, authorization of customer service agreement with RW Lone Star Security for shredding services for Jack Harwell Detention Center. Ken?
Yes. We've talked to both parties, and both parties wish to renew this agreement with RW Lone Star. The amount is, we have two 95-gallon totes that each time it's picked up and shredded on site, it's a minimum of $99. And if approved, the term would be from 3/21/24 through 3/20/25.
Okay. Any questions?
When would there be something beyond $99, Ken? How does that, it says a minimum stop fee. Is there a maximum stop fee?
If we had additional cans added, there's a charge of $40 for additional cans. But right now, I don't think that we need anything more.
But if it's just the two 95-gallon totes, then it's $99.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, any other questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
G10, authorization of agreement with Cumbie Pest Control. TJ?
Yes, good morning, everyone. So before you have our yearly contract with Cumbie Pest Control. There's been a few changes just based off of where we're seeing need for rodent control and where we're not seeing rodent control. All this pricing, of course, is covered under our 2024 budget. We've reviewed it, recommended for approval.
All right, any questions, comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Have motion second, any other discussion? Other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those, pass. Hey, TJ?
Yes, sir.
While you're on, you noticed, we have any freeze damage or anything?
No, sir. Not any that we've come across just yet. Of course, we won't come out of freezing till tomorrow, so there could be something hiding out there that hadn't let loose yet.
Right, I was just thinking about in the courthouse, the heat's on, so. I
No,
noticed.
everything, I think we got out pretty good for what it was.
Okay, I noticed in Judge Bain's office, they had plastic all over all their equipment. So, in faith, y'all fix it.
Always best to be prepared. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know how far they can think back, but I know they can think back to 21.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you, TJ.
No problem.
Justin?
All right, G11, authorization of renewal agreement with Core EMR for electronic medical record software and license for McLennan County Jail. Ken?
Yeah, we've checked with the sheriff's office and the jail and with Core EMR. They would like to continue the contract. Currently, the rate is $1.25 per inmate per month. We are roughly seeing 1,340 inmates for both facilities. If approved, the term will be from 2/22/24 through 2/21/25.
All right, any questions, comments? Not what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second, any other discussion? Other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
G12, authorization of memorandum of understanding with Coryell County Memorial Hospital Authority for the McLennan County Indigent Healthcare Program. Heather?
Yes, so what you have before you is a new MOU with Coryell County Memorial Hospital for their Coryell Health Clinic here in Waco. And what we've done is just kind of in an attempt to reduce our ER visits and to expand our access to additional primary care physicians, we're kind of doing a landscape analysis of our walk-in clinics and urgent care clinics in the area. There's kind of been an increase of those in the last several years. And so far, we've been working with several, and we've been able to secure this MOU with Coryell Health for their clinic. And this will add additional access to our clients for a walk-in style clinic, and then also just increasing the opportunity to get in there to see a PCP rather than utilizing the emergency room. So
Where do they-
we've reviewed it, and they're excited about the partnership. So, yes, sir?
In McLennan County, do they have locations in McLennan County, or tell us where they are?
Yes, sir. They have one location over on Franklin, and it is, what is their address?
Franklin, Texas.
I
Across the
should have been
street from WRS.
Okay.
It's like Lake Erie in Franklin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I visited with their recruiter that works out of the main hospital in Gatesville the other day on an unrelated topic, but she said they're actually going to build a new clinic out in the like 84 area closer to McGregor. So I don't know how soon that'll be, but
They do seem to be expanding and trying to make inroads in the Waco area.
Well, they've hired several
They've hired
local
several
doctors.
doctors
Yeah.
that,
One of mine,
yeah, one of mine too.
Yeah.
So.
one of many. Okay,
That's
great, all right,
another subject.
yeah. All right, is there a motion to approve the MOU with Coryell County Memorial Hospital Authority?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those, pass.
thank you.
Thank you.
G13, authorization of support and maintenance agreement with Excella Technologies. This is for document imaging software for the sheriff's office. This is just a renewal. It's an increase of about $75 and it's recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the agreement with Excella Technologies?
Second.
Second.
All right, that motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
All right, if it's okay, we can move back up to those pulls from the consent agenda. We'd like to start with item E3C. This is an HR matter for criminal district attorney. I'd like to call on Anna and Josh Keats.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Morning, how are y'all today? Morning.
So we have here an item related to Senate Bill 22, which issues a grant from the state for either salary adjustments or adds to staff for the district attorney's office. They outline eligibility for 3 functions. So it's our investigator positions, assistant district attorney positions, and victim assistant coordinator functions. And so the district attorney has compiled a list of positions that he'd like to put forward for salary increases or salary adjustments. They're foregoing the ability to add staff using this grant, and it'll just be salary increases in the amount of $275,000. That amount has been dispersed amongst 48 positions. HR has reviewed that list of salary increases that are within our salary structure, and they maintain pay grade classification as well. We've completed that review. There's just one position that we've highlighted and have plans for resolution. I think pending that one correction, HR would recommend approval of that list with effective date for implementation pending receipt of grant funds.
When do you expect to get that?
So it wasn't until this past Friday that the application online actually worked. And I use worked in quotes because it still hasn't been finalized. But we technically have till January 30th to apply, quote unquote, and be approved, but it's simply a formality. The part we're at right now is it just is frozen at asking for the county's TIN number.
Okay.
What are your
But
plans
actu-
if this grant funding is not available in the future?
We made that very clear to our employees, that this is a 2-year grant, and it is contingent also on population. And McLennan County is just under the limit when it comes to approval for this grant, if they even do it again in the next legislative session. So it may very well be that we just don't even qualify as a county. So our employees are very well aware of that.
unfortunately, I think there's gonna be some unhappy employees.
It's possible.
But for now, they truly see some benefit to it, financial.
Absolutely. This is more important than anything else, retention.
Right.
This keeps our experienced prosecutors here and working in the courtrooms and making sure that they don't take those higher offers that many of them get on a regular basis outside the county.
Okay.
Anna, so the grant proceeds will be outside of COLA going into next year, right?
Will be outside of what, sir?
It'll be outside of the COLA. Those grant proceeds will not be considered part of their COLA.
So these amounts are going to be considered in addition to the budgeted position, and practice has been applying cost of living adjustment to that budgeted amount. So it would be considered for COLA.
So what are the chances that if you apply it to the COLA and we move forward and then we don't get the grant and now we're out of whack with our,
And we'll continually, we review that every year to see compensation ratio-wise where that position lands. We'll be considering this grant moving forward as a part of that. But I would say, like the district attorney mentioned, I feel like it is going to help with retention. We have 2 vacant positions that were a part of this add to staff that the court approved for the DA for this fiscal year, and there's a struggle to get applications, and we very much feel like it's salary related.
and I agree 100% with that, but this also could be the very reason why people leave. If the grant is not continued and the funding's not there, it's kind of a catch-22, guys, isn't it?
A little bit, but I'll also say that's something that we talked with HR about and Anna, and moving forward, looking at our similar counties, correct me if I'm wrong, our salaries fall at or under the majority of those right now. And so that's something that's constantly being reevaluated by HR. And ultimately, if we take a step back even further, why the legislature reached out and passed this bill to try to increase retention and encourage people to apply for these positions. But I certainly understand the court's concern when you have employees that have been getting a certain amount of pay for 2 years and then suddenly that stops. Again, that was made abundantly clear to them, and I think that they appreciate that and understand that fully.
I want the best for them and I want what will, but I also don't want to set them up to pull, the carpet out from underneath them and say, well, you guys should have known that. So as long as we're all on the same page, I do have concerns that it becomes part of COLA, but that's probably a small concern compared to the impact that it's going to make.
Okay, other questions or comments? Hopefully, if it does happen, retention will be lessened by it. In the meantime, then at the end, when the money runs out, it might jump up again, but something we look at every day. All right, any other questions or comments? So, is there a
Motion to approve.
motion to approve recommendation?
Second.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose, pass. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, item E3A, HR matter for Community Supervision and Corrections Department / Adult Probation. Anna?
Thank you. I left my notes. I'll be right back.
What was that number?
E3A?
E3A? Go rehire.
I have a request here from Adult Probation. They're requesting to rehire a retiree, Wanda Barnhart, into a part-time community supervision officer position. It's position number 878. The position was posted to the public, and they hired according to policy guidelines. And this person does meet the minimum 90-day break-in service requirement to be rehired as a retiree, and all of the required affidavits have also been completed. And they would like approval to hire this person into position 878 as soon as January 24th, and HR would recommend for approval.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
E3B is a matter for human resources. Anna?
So I have here a request for HR personnel budget. The HR department has had a need for restructure and salary adjustments to remain competitive. And so that's what this proposal is. There's a reason why I'm coming to the court with a personnel budget request out of budget sessions. And so we've had direct recruitment of HR staff from a competing employer. And I feel like it would be irresponsible of me to wait until budget sessions and risk talent loss and not bring this to the court's attention sooner. And so that's the reason I'm bringing the proposal forward today. And so my proposal, again, was a planned structure that I wanted to move forward with this coming budget session. I'm just speeding that up for the reason already mentioned. So I have here a request to reclassify 2 positions. I have a request for salary adjustments for HR staff and a request to add an additional full-time position and also do away with our part-time budget of $15,600. So that sort of summarizes the request that I have for the HR department. I have here a presentation I'd like to run through with the court to kind of just give some of that analysis that HR is using for support for this request. I think I'm going to share my screen. So again, my request is for this current fiscal year 2024. And these are some of the challenges that HR has been facing. We've been facing competition within the HR industry. Our current HR structure is making cross-training difficult, and we've been expanding our HR services for the county, and that's becoming difficult to maintain with our current team. Again, those proposed solutions are what I'm requesting here today. That's an add to staff, a reorganization, including reclassifications and salary adjustments. And I'm hoping that that move will, if approved, will help with talent retention, continuity, and improvement of existing HR programs, and then continue to push for a strategic HR department, which I feel like is what the county will continue to need. And so, just to highlight those HR staffing challenges that we're experiencing, I want to explain this competitive market. And so our current HR staff all exceed education and experience requirements for entry into these positions. So that means they're very attractive talent to competing employers. Again, we've had direct recruitment from a competing employer. They're calling my HR staff directly to try to recruit them over to their team. And so I can see why they're talented staff, and I feel like that is going to continue unless some reevaluation of our department occurs. The HR occupation is growing faster than the average occupation, and so in Texas, projected job openings for HR will increase by 23% by 2030, compared to the national average of only 3%. percent. So this problem will only continue to grow. And the market has already taken 2 of our staff members, an HR specialist and an HR generalist, who actually maintain our entire compensation structure, and they got about $15,000 to $20,000 increases where they went. And one of them would have been a lateral move. This is not a promotion they received, this person maintaining our compensation structure. This was a lateral move for them, and they got a $20,000 salary increase. So I want to mention that. Part of the reason I want to change the structure itself and not just the salaries is so that I can count and train a few individuals whose focus will be strategic data analysis to continue to offer the court those data points that are helping in making personnel decisions. And this is our current HR department structure. We have specialists who focus on a daily function, a primary duty, and then they are also cross-trained to help float other position functions to prepare for outages or increases in work volume for those other positions. And that is just becoming difficult to sustain. That's a lot of knowledge we're expecting one individual to be able to carry. And so this is the structure that I'm proposing. And so 2 of the reclassifications that I'm requesting are 2 of our senior positions, changing them to manager positions that will each be responsible for leading their own business groups. I'm going to be splitting up the HR department into 2 different business groups, one focused on benefits and recruitment, and the other group focused on employee relations, leadership support and training, and policy compliance. And so these 2 groups, that is what they'll only be responsible for, cross-training and floating this group's function rather than to be a jack of all trades in all functions of HR. That was a lot. Folks are stretched thin. This structure, we feel like, would both still maintain that talent growth, but also help alleviate some of the duties that these individuals are responsible for having. This keeps going backward on me instead of forward. So I have here in this proposal, this reorganization as being part 1 or phase 1 of growth in business groups. So the following. This is phase 2. This can be years from now, but eventually I do feel like the county would have a need for a recruitment group whose function is community engagement, growth of social media presence, and content. And so that would be my vision for phase 2 if the court also felt like there was a need there. Should have brought my keyboard. This is really... here is a summary of the position changes and cost just for salary. The additional staff person that I'm requesting wouldn't require furniture or equipment because, again, I will be repurposing the furniture and equipment currently used by our part-time position that I would be giving back to the budget. And I wanted a display there that I did all the same analysis that I would normally do during budget for these salary adjustments. And so I reviewed compensation ratio, market, county information, internal pay grade information, all of that was reviewed. And so the ending compensation ratio for these salary adjustments that I'm proposing are all the adjusted ratio here. You can see it's all at 1, a compensation ratio of 1 or slightly below a 1. And so I'm not asking for anything that I wouldn't normally recommend during budget sessions. So I just wanted to share with the court that I maintain that same process and analysis for this HR budget request. And So some comparisons I did for these salaries and the add to staff, I did a department of our like comparable counties and also our main competitor, City of Waco here locally. You can see that the add to staff would give us a total of 8 full-time staff members, which is within range both for our competing counties and this, well, we wouldn't even be close to the City of Waco. They have 19
So they
total.
spend almost $1.2 million in salary more than we do.
Right.
Is that correct?
That is correct. That is just salary. And they have 19 staff members, so their ratio for HR to personnel, or HR to workforce is 1 HR staff member for every 80 employees. Ours is 157. And so we do like to compare to counties, but the other counties aren't the employers that are directly calling my staff. So that, the City of Waco has 1,500 employees, 1,522 employees. We have 1,100. That's our employee count. And so there's an investment there for HR staff. And both the salary that's being requested and the add to staff would be within lines with similar comparable counties and would help us be slightly more competitive with City of Waco. I also have here a comparison to internal service departments. And we look outside, we also look inside. We can see here in this analysis, there's been a steady investment in our service groups here at the county, and that would include the IT department and the maintenance department. You can see both of these charts here. They map out the last 5 years of personnel budget for these service departments, and you can see there's a steady investment in both maintenance of buildings and IT. HR and purchasing there we see have flatter lines, and so I'm just asking for that investment in the HR department, another service group there as well, to be more in line with our IT and our maintenance of buildings departments. In addition to that, we also conducted a work volume review. So here we can see the last 5 years of HR work volume steadily increasing as the years go on, and we expect that to continue. And so this is support service interactions. That's employees coming to us for grievances or policy questions. Our actions to maintain our employee system are also steadily increased. They've increased almost every year. And then our workers' compensation functions have also started to increase since 2021. That is all the data I have to support the request. I feel like there's sufficient data there, and so I'm gonna turn it back to the court for any questions that you might have or concerns about the information that I've presented or my budget request in general.
Any questions?
I just have a question with regards to you maybe forecasting a little bit, but I think this is probably the tip of the iceberg with regards to poaching that we see going on in multiple areas of the county.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be fair to say?
I think that that's reasonable to say. Yes, we have departments and individuals with a lot of experience who could easily look at a competing employer for consideration.
I agree, but I don't know that we will ever be able to compete with some people simply because they're poaching our employees. They'll just raise the ante. They're not going to.
Well, but you can't ignore it either.
You can't ignore it, but I don't know how long you can keep raising the ante yourself, especially.
I just hate that their fiscal irresponsibility is really, it's gonna it's affecting the, you know, the job that we're doing for our employees and the taxpayers and things like that, so.
When we originally talked, this information was being shared to prepare us for next budget year. And now we're talking about this budget year, and I'm not saying how I feel about it right now, but I will say it still continues to bother me when we get into the budget year and then we ask to amend the budget. I wish that there was something in place that only emergency items could come before this court, and that someone be designated as the person who determined that something was an emergency item before we would act on it.
You do, it's this court. This court is the one that determines that, and if you don't want to approve, item during the middle of the budget year, you need at least 3 votes.
I understand that.
I'm with you, I understand.
It just disturbs me that
Yeah.
every meeting we have, it seems to be, I don't know, I'm not gonna call them emergency items,
Yeah.
but they still come before us.
I understand, I mean, I'm just saying that we are,
I just want to be fair though, because I don't want any of our department heads or elected officials to feel like I shouldn't say anything when I'm getting hurt.
absolutely, I
I
agree
don't
with
want
that.
them, I don't want to put that image out that
No.
you know, you're going to lose 3 employees between now and then, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
So I like this as a justification. I'm not as fond, even though this drives it, is which departments are growing the fastest. I want to grow as fast as that department. And that's not and you're not making that point, I know, but you were just showing it as additional information. This many times drives which departments grow. It's the amount of workload they have, and it's got to be reasonable. You got to respond to volume with your capacity to handle it. And, you know, you said a number of employees, 1,100 or so. And, you know, 10 years ago, it was like 850. So, that's what, 15, 16% growth or 17. And our county hadn't grown that much in 10 years, I don't believe. But nevertheless, state of Texas and the federal government doesn't help us any. They keep
No.
pushing stuff to us.
But there could be a lot of outside influences. You're not talking apples and apples necessarily when you're comparing departments, in my mind, because, you know, you talk about maintenance of buildings. If we add 6 new buildings,
Yeah.
that something's got to give. You know, there's going to be more workload. I don't know, but I mean, I agree that we can't keep losing people, good people, that make this county work. I don't have the answer.
So how much have you discussed this with Commissioner Miller?
I had a meeting with her related to the data and the concerns with talent retention.
Did she ask for any more information that you hadn't had a chance to provide to her yet?
No, she didn't request any particular information. She did want some time to consider the matter, but didn't have any specific questions or requests for more data.
Okay.
I tend to over-provide data, so preparation for that.
Well, I'd like to suggest that, like her, just need a little bit more time, that we defer it to the next meeting, and hopefully we'll have full court here to make a decision on it.
Okay.
So I make that motion to defer.
Second.
That motion second. Any other discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dustin.
All right, Judge, E3D is County Court at Law number 3. Did you want to mention anything here?
Well, as many of you probably know, last Friday, the court in a posted meeting The court made a decision to select Pat Atkins as a county court at law 3 judge, starting in about 45 days. And out of 9 applicants, all very qualified applicants. We had gone through interviews, and then we went down to, finalized it to a short list of 4. Those were very qualified people. Any one of the 4 would have been, could be a great county court of law 3 judge. And so that decision was made. We congratulate Pat Atkins, and so I guess, Dustin, we can, do we need to defer to finalize I mean, we've already approved the selection.
Right, I think we can just know that, previous action was taken, and then we can put it back on the agenda when it's time to accept the bond and oath documents.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything else on that? All right, we will move on with no action.
All right, Judge, is Chris there?
Nope, I don't see her.
All right, then we'll move down to item I, capital improvement repair construction projects. I1 is regarding sliding door control mechanism replacement for Highway 6 jail, authorization of pay application from Cornerstone Detention Products. TJ?
Yes, sir. So they have finished up, all the work is found to be 100% complete and satisfactory. We've reviewed this invoice, we recommend it for approval, this will be the last one.
Move to approve. All right, we have a motion, is there a second? Second. Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
I2 is regarding capital improvement projects for the Cameron Park Zoo. It's the invoice for the Education Center, Veterinary Hospital, Hoofstock Barn, and Penguin Exhibit. Francis?
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
This is the monthly invoice from the city of Waco, and they are requesting to be reimbursed for their costs incurred for the zoo projects for the month. So their total invoice is $1,752,291.38, and we have reviewed and recommend it for payment.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? As far as I know, it's project's on schedule.
Make a motion to approve I2.
Second.
All right, have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
All right, item J, budget amendments. J1 is regarding the FY24 budget. Francis?
Thank you. So starting with J1A, this is a budget amendment in the courthouse security fund, so the special revenue fund. It's a request from County Court at Law 2, and they're requesting to purchase and install security cameras within that courtroom. And so this is an eligible purchase for that special revenue fund. We're asking to increase furniture and equipment and move from contingencies in that fund. J1B, this is general fund for 474th District Court. They're requesting just to move between lines in their department from the court reporter line into software licensing and support to cover an additional cost for their software license with BIS Digital. J1C, this is general fund, county auditor's office. We are requesting to move within line items in our department into furniture and equipment. We had a printer die on us unexpectedly, and we're needing to replace it. So we're able to move from our supplies line into the furniture and equipment line to make that purchase. J1D1, this is capital outlay for the 414th District Court. That Judge Luna is requesting to purchase chairs for the courtroom. There's a quote attached. It's a total of 28 chairs plus installation. That total there's $24,483. And so he is requesting for that amount to come from contingencies within the general fund. J1D2, this is general fund, also capital outlay. This was something that was actually budgeted. We're just moving it to a different line. So IT had in their budget for this year, the solid IT network project. Again, quote attached. And we had originally budgeted for that in furniture and equipment, but after we saw the final details, felt it needed to be capital outlay. So we're just reclassing that budget, from furniture and equipment into capital outlay for the year. J1E, this is Fund 150, our Court Reporter Service Fund, another special revenue fund. The request is to increase the software licensing and support line by moving from contingencies, and this is to cover some software support for the 474th Court Reporter. J1F, this is General Fund JP Precinct 4. They are requesting to increase their furniture and equipment line, and it is to cover cover the cost of an audio visual upgrade. So they've worked with IT on that quote, and they are asking for that to come from contingencies in the general fund. J1G, this is again a budget amendment. There's no increase or change really. It's just cleaning up some line items. So we created some new software lines for this budget year, just based on how we have to report software now and our software costs in our financial statements. So we're just cleaning up lines and moving some things that were budgeted in lines. Others, like you see at the bottom, other services and charges, software support and maintenance. And we need them to be budgeted in our software licensing and support line. So again, just kind of cleaning up those line items and moving within lines within the budget. Sorry. And then J1H, this is general fund for the county treasurer. He is requesting just to move within line items in his budget from supplies to repair and maintenance, and just a small additional amount needed for their CTWP maintenance contract on their copier. Any questions?
Any questions anyone have?
I do have one on J1F.
J1F.
Do we not have funds in the Justice Technology Fund anymore? And if
So
not, wouldn't that
that
qualify?
one- No, I think that we do not have sufficient funds at this time to cover that cost.
Okay.
So that's why that's coming from general fund at this time.
Okay, any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve all the items from J1 all the way through J1H?
Move to approve.
I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Pass. Thank you.
All right, I know Chris Collins is in court, so we can go to her 2 action items. H1s regarding the program project agreement with Aston Johnson Non-Women's Manufacturing, authorization of payment request number 2, final. And then I'll also go ahead and read in item N4. This is the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for November 2023. Chris?
Morning.
Good morning. Hope everybody's warm today, 'cause it's a little chilly out there. All right, so we'll start with the Aston Johnson Program Project Agreement draw request. This is their second and final draw request. We did the first one back in October of 2023. Per that agreement, they had to reach their investment numbers, and then they had to occupy the facility by December 31st of 2023. They met that metric, and we were able to authorize the first payment. The second payment, they have to be eligible, they had to create a minimum of 22 jobs by the end of the year. And with that, they have created the jobs. They've actually exceeded their job creation. Of that, they had 20, so they have 24 jobs in total, and 22 of those had to be WEDMEC eligible. They have met that metric, both on the eligibility piece for the number of jobs, but also on the residency piece. So 40% of their employment base lives in the city of Waco proper, and 84% lives in McLennan County. Our recommendation there is that they receive their second draw request of $1 million, the county's portion of which is $500,000.
All right, any questions? So obviously they've met or exceeded their ROI requirement.
Yes, sir.
They should meet the payback. All right, any questions? All right, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve H1.
Second?
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
And then the second thing that you have for us is the November Economic Development Report. We're a little bit into 2024, but that's all right. What we have before you is our Economic Development Report. You can see from this, we've had a very strong year in economic development activity. Our traction inquiries continue to be strong, down a little bit from where they were this time last year. We have seen some of those leads drop off from the state of Texas. And then we also, I think I mentioned this last time, we've not attended as many trade shows in 2023 as we have in other years. So we don't tend to see as many leads. But I would just say that sometimes it's better quality over quantity. And so the projects that we're working on and the things that are coming through are very strong and are moving forward into new opportunities for the greater Waco area. Our business retention expansion program still continues to roll strong. I'll give you a preview of what the December report looks like. We exceeded 100 visits for the year, which is the first time we've done that since pre-COVID. Lexi Rail, our Director of Economic Development that runs our business retention expansion program, is here with me today. She did a great job of being able to get over that metric. We are continuing to see a number of projects, both in Waco proper, but then across McLennan County too, that I'll be visiting with y'all about in just a little while. But I think, the activity between Dallas and Austin and San Antonio remains very strong, and we are definitely seeing a lot of large, interesting projects that are coming across our desk these days. With that, though, I'd be happy to answer any questions that y'all have about what's happening in the marketplace or any of the work that we have underway right now.
Any questions or comments? All right, sounds good. Is there a motion to approve this report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second?
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. And now, Chris, if you'll stand by, we'll come back to you in a little bit.
All right, moving on to item L, grants, grant proposals. L1 is our ARPA discussion. Don't believe we have anything today. L2 is regarding the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, Body Worn Camera Grant Program, authorization of submission of FY25 grant application, and related resolutions, forms for the Sheriff's Office. David Ives?
This is the grant application we had discussed with the court during the budget session of last year, talking about the sheriff's office wanting to move towards body cameras and making that decision to ultimately wait for this because it's an implementation grant. We're asking for the ability to apply for this. This grant is going to have a 9/1/2024 start, but we can start after that. It runs for 12 months to coincide with our budget, and it does have a 25% match. We're currently demoing two different units, two different groups of units, 6 units from each individual manufacturer, so we get a good spread. One from Axon and one from Motorola, and the cost for those are very different, and of course, it's like anything else. It's software as a service is always attached to these things now. So you'll see an ongoing cost for those things, much like you do on the constable's office. But those year one costs right now, from what we have quotes from the two manufacturers, which is what the grant would cover minus the 25%, is $121,619 for Axon, and Motorola is $80,426.
Is there that much difference in the product?
I don't know. I haven't worn one, Commissioner, but our patrol division is testing that to see if there is a feature and benefit that constitutes, that cost difference.
I'm just stunned to see Motorola a little bit on anything.
I know, I mean, Motorola is a quality product that
What
they
would
put
you
out.
say, like Axon probably has what percentage of global, of these
A large
camera.
percentage.
Yeah.
Is Motorola just now getting into it?
Well, no,
Yeah.
Motorola is, so I know Baylor uses, so City of Waco uses Axon. Like Baylor University uses Motorola. You have other large agencies. I can't remember, I think it's LAPD that uses Motorola. So you have some large agencies that use Motorola too, and we're taking into account that our in-car cameras are also Motorola WatchGuard. They acquired WatchGuard, so it's all Motorola now. So that also, weighs on our opinion as to what's going to be best for us, not to have different servers and other equipment, stuff that guys are familiar with. It seems to be cheaper right now, but we don't know that Axon can come forward and say that they have some groundbreaking feature that could or could not make it possibly worth it.
And so what you're asking for today is to apply for the grant?
Correct, yes, sir.
And if the grant were to come in, none of these costs would kick in till next budget year?
Correct. So we have to submit the grant by 2/8 of 2024, and then the state's fiscal year starts 9/1 of 24. So that's when the grant can start, or when we could start expending funds, but we don't have to start expending funds on that day. But we would be through our budget process at that point for the most part.
Any other questions or comments? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
L3 is regarding the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, State Homeland Security Grant Program, LATPA projects, authorization of submission of FY24 grant application, and related resolutions and forms. I'd like to call on Sergeant Graham and Captain Nixon.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
This is the Homeland Security Grant that we apply for almost yearly for our bomb squad, where we purchase most of our bomb squad equipment through. This year, we're seeking a total of $126,914.09. This is a non-matching grant. This would be for upgrades to our aiming system for our disruption tools, electronics toolkit and accessories, as well as online training through WMD. This would be training for our bomb techs. And then replace one of our bomb suits that is coming due, and to obtain a photo kite, which is basically a stationary tethered drone that we would use on scenes to have an elevated perspective of what's going on, and doesn't have the battery limitations of an untethered drone. So this would also give us live video of the scene that we can stream back to whoever needs it.
So I'm assuming the tether carries the power.
Yes, sir.
to the drone, right?
It's fiber optic, so it carries the power and the audio video signals. Yes, sir.
All right, any questions?
My favorite words are no county match, so I really like those. So.
Mine was disruption tool.
I thought that was pretty cool too.
All right,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
motion made and second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thanks, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
L4 is regarding the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Title IV-E grant contract, authorization of Title IV-E Child Welfare Services claims. Francis?
Yes, so L4A, B, and C are just each quarterly claim requests to the state for child welfare, Title IV-E Child Welfare Services.
Motion to approve L4A, B, and C.
Second.
All right, I have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
All right, moving on to item M, Department Office Specific Request. M1 is Health Services, approval of order for acceptance of monetary donation. Heather?
Yes, sir. So what we have before us is a donation of $200 from Mr. Doral and the church under the bridge. It's just an appreciation for all that we do to serve the folks here in Waco and McLennan County. And we are planning to use the money to purchase some clothes and outreach supplies for the department.
Okay, great. All right, I'll make a motion, we accept the monetary donation.
Second.
Motion made and second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
M2 is Constable Precinct 1, authorization of reimbursement of vehicle damage. Francis?
Yes, this is just a request to reimburse a citizen for damage done to a vehicle by a Constable 1 employee. The total quote that we received was $870.78.
Okay.
And then the details are attached in the packet.
All right, thank you. I'll make a motion, we approve the payment.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
M3, purchasing authorization of online auction with Renee Bates related ad in order declaring certain property as surplus and authorizing disposition of same. Ken?
Yeah, we have a small auction ready to go. We got 18 lots. Nothing major in the lots, except maybe the 2006 pickup and a 2001 Kenworth truck. But if approved, the auction would begin on January 18th and close on February 1st, 2024.
All right. Any questions, comments? If not, I'll make a motion, we approve the sale.
Second.
Have a motion second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
M4, County Sheriff, authorization of application for aircraft hull and liability insurance with Assured Partners. This is just the application for the aircraft insurance, and we will then be bringing the quote back at a later date.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Under item N, additional items, N1 is discussion and interaction regarding the courthouse Christmas lighting ceremony. N1A is ratification of purchases for courthouse Christmas event. TJ or Francis?
Yeah, Francis, I'll take this. So this is just a ratification for the water that we purchased for the event. So we recommend it for approval.
All right, I'll make a motion, we approve, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion,
It was really good water.
no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
N2, discussion and or action regarding purchase, replacement of tornado sirens and related matters. N2A is regarding the city of Lacey Lakeview. N2B is regarding the unincorporated area of Elmont. Commissioner Jones?
So yeah, this has been on the agenda quite a while now, and had a brief email discussion with Francis. She feels she was doing some research as far as the whether or not this could be paid for with the ARPA funds. The sirens in Lacey Lakeview do reach out into the unincorporated Elmont area. So that's really how it came to our attention, is that it wasn't working. And I feel certain that, you know, the Lacey Lakeview would split. You know, they're just kind of waiting on us to decide if, I wouldn't propose doing any of the new sirens in the area, like Elmont, or because there is debate about the siren program and how it works and things like that. But this would just get what I would propose is that we just work to get what was working up and working now.
So when you were out, so kind of bring you up to what the discussion was, it was more in general discussion and, you know, philosophically, do you issue funds to an entity that has taxing authority like we do, if it's not and it does not affect economic development. That's the only thing. Doesn't mean, in other words, we provide funding maybe to a municipality that does have taxing authority, but the reason is that it creates something that brings economic impact back. And so that's just the discussion. It's not a lot of money. It's a real small amount. It's more of a setting the,
And it's up to the commissioner's court. I mean, at this point,
What did they use their ARPA funds for? Do we know?
not sure.
And we did hear back, as Commissioner Jones alluded to, we did hear back from Forvis, and so like I said, it's really a two-step process on natural disasters and negative economic effects of natural disasters. First part is just, it's a natural disaster that has occurred or is threatened to occur in the future. And then you have to identify an emergency relief that responds to that disaster, and it just has to be related and reasonably proportional to the impact identified. So it would just take some documentation, and it does appear to be eligible.
okay? So the next question, does it seem like there's eligible, is there any of those ARPA dollars that are still discretionary?
Yes, so, and Francis can add in, back in the fall when we had looked at it, there was still, and this speaking generally, $500,000 or $600,000 that was remaining, and then we had they thought that we needed to keep a large portion of that just for the ongoing monitoring costs, sub-recipient monitoring, and then the legal costs going forward. But I would think this roughly $18,000 to $19,000, it could definitely fit, Judge.
Yes, and I would agree as well that there would be sufficient excess funds to accommodate that.
Any other thoughts?
I like the idea of doing a push to publicize our, what's it called, Everbridge, and make more and more people aware of it, because that seems to be a very, very effective method of notifying the public. I really like that. I think whether we continue to use them or fund them, these horns are past generation.
Yeah, they are.
Past generation. I think there's a thought, or in my mind, some thought of a precedent we set when we start funding within a city, because probably any city could argue that someone living outside the city can hear it also. I know the city of Woodway has their own, but if it goes down, are they gonna come ask us to pay for part of it? City of Robinson has their own. I know there's others too, so at what point, if we could use ARPA money, I'm not near as opposed to it as I would have been out of budget, so.
Right, and the only other thing I would wanna ask them first, do they have any ARPA funds left? And if they do, I would encourage them to use it for that. If not, I could see, Commissioner Smith, I could see where we could get ARPA funds for it, but don't wanna get into McGregor has their own, Woodway has their own.
But if McGregor's breaks down, or
So if they don't have ARPA money, are you willing to support us taking out our ARPA money to cover it?
pay for all of it?
Half.
Portion of it.
What a half.
Well, this is only a 50-50. This is just
Yeah.
a 50-50.
Oh, it's 20,000, what is it?
So
And
it'd be
it-
our portion.
Right, and again, it's not the money, it's just
Yeah.
the precedent that gets created by.
Right.
I mean,
Can we check with them first?
I mean,
Or just ask
we
them?
have partnered with a lot of different entities with our ARPA money. And this is a health and safety issue, and that's all there is to it. It's health and safety. There's no other getting around it.
Well, there's a ton.
That somebody's, might actually hear the siren in Elmont from Lacey Lakeview and get get under cover. So if we don't care about that, then that's fine. Let's just move on.
I'm just waiting for a motion of action, and then.
Well,
I'll make a motion that we use use ARPA funds to get the one siren that's not working in Lacey Lakeview at a 50-50 partnership. It's into A.
In the amount of,
In the amount of 18,000, our portion would be 18,421.
I can agree with that if we find out whether they have ARPA funds left or not.
okay, so so it's a second, subject to them having ARPA funds. So let me ask a question.
Okay.
If they don't have ARPA funds, are you okay with us doing it?
Out of the general fund?
Yeah. No, out of
No,
our
this is
ARPA
all
funds.
ARPA. This
No, this is our ARPA.
This is
No,
our ARPA.
I've said I'm agreeable to his motion,
Yeah,
with the caveat being that they don't have any funds left, ARPA funds.
Well, I mean, they're willing to pay for half of it, and it doesn't,
Yeah, regardless of how they pay for it.
Well, but if they've got ARPA funds left, they should pay it all.
What if they don't have, what if they
Then-
only have
then-
half of their ARPA? What,
Then we can help, but
okay.
I think just a
That's fine.
carte blanche will pay for it. I would like to put the pressure on them
it's
first.
never been a carte blanche, we'll pay for it. It's always been a 50-50 split.
But if they can fund it, they should,
through their ARPA.
through their ARPA.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want them to take it out of general revenue, though. I don't have a problem with our half of it.
Okay, let me try to see if I can state this motion. The motion is that we pay for the, or the half of, funding for the, Lacey Lakeview down, horns or sirens. And, subject to them not having that amount of ARPA money to cover that. But if they don't have it, then we cover it out of our ARPA money.
Our half.
What's wrong? So,
Well, I mean, my original motion was that we pay for it, we split the cost out of ARPA, out of our ARPA funds. And it's just,
period. Okay.
period.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right. Call for vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Opposed?
Okay, pass. All right, Justin?
And then Commissioner Jones, do we just need to, pull with no action into B?
So, yes.
Okay. All right, N3 is discussion and/or action regarding retired patrol vehicle request from Mark Volunteer Fire Department. I believe we need to defer this again, Judge.
All right, make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
N5, authorization of amendment to the McLennan County Employee Policy Guide, Section 16.11, Safety Focus Work Group. On it.
I have your request to amend the Employee Policy Guide, Section 16.11. This section of the policy guide establishes a safety-focused work group. This work group has been in place. We are just requesting an amendment to include an additional work group member, a Sheriff's Office Administrator. This work group is intended to review county facilities, for the purpose of identifying safety issues, and we feel like a representative from the Sheriff's Office would be very helpful in that endeavor. And so that's what this request is. Here, it's just adding an additional member.
All right, everybody understand that?
Well, is this just workplace safety? We're talking about workplace safety, like you need to tie down the carpet because it's loose and you might trip and fall and break your leg?
Yes, sir, or just reminding county offices that they shouldn't stack boxes close to the ceiling, or
Doesn't TAC already do that?
they actually work with this group. So we have a TAC consultant that comes in and
So we're not double dipping
Well,
here.
we're creating a policy. I mean, that's,
It's just a
We already
committee,
have a
right?
policy. We already have it, don't we?
But she's wanting to add,
Just add one
add a
person.
sheriff's-
But yeah, I'm just wondering, are we doing the same thing twice? But they come in with you when you go around to these places?
so they consult with us, but most of the facility review is done by this work group, not the actual TAC representative. The TAC representative is helping us identify what we should be looking for in these facility reviews, and then kind of we're doing it and taking that responsibility on our own to
So
complete
since-
that quarterly.
Oh, excuse me. So since Dustin already attends those, how about putting him on that focus group?
I'm sorry?
So who else on the group now?
So right now we have the Director of Building Maintenance, the County Engineer, Emergency Management Coordinator, Director of Purchasing, myself, and we're proposing the Sheriff's Office Administrator.
So are you limited to that amount? I'm just saying that Dustin probably ought to be on that since he's,
Yes, I would agree, and he participates currently.
right.
So we can solidify it in the policy as well and just add County Administrator on there.
Okay.
Just do that and wait and bring it back?
Or
Okay, we do it today?
approve pending addition of County Administrator.
Along with someone from the Sheriff's Department?
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion, we do that.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
N6 is authorization of county appointee to the Emergency Preparedness Advisory Committee, EPAC, and this is reappointment of Michael Graham. He was appointed back in July of 2020 to replace Wayne Canada, and Hot Cog feels he's been an active and valuable member since his appointment, so it's recommended for approval.
Okay, good.
So moved. Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
N7, approval of order for sole source designation and granting exemptions from bidding with Arcosa Aggregates. Ken?
Yes, we bid the lightweight aggregate for many years, and we were unable to find anyone else in the state of Texas that can supply us with lightweight aggregate. So we bring to the court this exemption, designation as a sole source vendor for Arcosa, and that's under our local government code 262.024A7A. If approved, we'll allow this exemption to go through from March 1st, 2024 through February 29th, 2025.
Okay? Any questions?
I certainly don't have a problem with it as long as sometime in the future we do end up bidding it just in case
Someone else shows
someone were to
up,
come on
yes.
board. Yeah.
The last time I checked, there was no one within a number of states that had this.
Understand. Move to approve N7.
Second. We have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
All right, Judge, that should be all the action items. We do have an executive session. We also have the PFC meeting.
All right, what I'd
I
like
don't
to
know.
do is do the executive session on economic development and then come out. I guess we'll be done with court then. We'll start the PFC meeting.
Right, do we come out, adjourn, and then call PFC to order, as long as Mercedes or Reagan can confirm that we've hit all the action items.
Okay, yes, the answer is yes. All right, so at this time, I'd like to go into executive
Recording in progress.
Okay, it is 12:29. Let's call court back in session.
Bless you.
Okay. All right, so Dustin, just to be clear, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting and then start the PFC meeting.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. All right, is there anything else to come before the court? If not, we stand adjourned.